Hi everyone. We're so excited to have another video. This time we're going to be talking again about what love looks like. But this time Russell is going to be telling us what love looks like to him. So
Yeah,
you can go
go
ahead.
ahead. Cool. Thank you very much, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I think picking on from where we left off, I'm going to try and speak about 3 or 4 things that I realized earlier on in our relationship and all the way that we've walked to where we are now, which are signs of what to me shows me that this girl loves me. So I think the first thing for me is that she deeply cares for me and for the people and the things and everything that I hold very close to my heart. So I think from very early on when we started dating, probably just still going through like our due diligence phase, I could see that there was a deep concern and deep care for everything that I was involved in. Could have been the time I think I was studying. It would be family things, my well-being, my relationship with God, just making sure that I am accountable to the people that I'm accountable to, and I'm accountable to you, and I'm accountable to God. So for me, just that deep concern, sort of that equals my own concern, and sometimes even more than my own concern, was one of the first signs of, to me, what love looked like and what it looks like continuously.
Yeah, I like that. That makes it makes a lot of sense. Like it's when you love someone, like that's one of the easier things to be able to tell if someone really loves you is that they actually care
Yeah.
about things that have to do with you, because then that means they have to think outside of their own concerns,
Correct.
things that they don't necessarily identify with or relate to, but they will still, because they love you, they
Yeah.
will still care about the things that you care about, which is it's a big thing and it's an important thing, especially when you're dating. Really, you should look out for stuff like that.
Yeah. Cool. And then the second thing was how she prays and prioritizes me. So prays for me and prioritizes me in her prayer and in her walk with God. And I'm just gonna paint a little bit of a story or a picture. They say men and women are different. If you walk past someone and you ask a man what was that guy wearing, the guy will say a white t-shirt and blue jeans and white sneakers. But a woman will go an extra mile. They're very detail oriented. I know I'm generalizing, but you tend to get much more details. Boy, you should hear a woman who loves you pray for you, because it gets deeper. It's all detail oriented. Sometimes I just love just listening. I drag on my prayers just so I can listen to her pray.
Wow.
And go, boy, she's actually praying for me, and she's saying all of these nice things that I myself, who probably is in the middle of whatever that we're praying for, haven't even thought to use those words or to say that to God. So for me, as we were starting and just spending that corporate prayer, just me and her, and just hearing her pray for me, that just made me realize that I think I scooped the real
There
deal.
we go.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, for me, that's another sign of what love looks like, and someone can just go beyond themselves and just put you in prayer and pray for you in a way that you probably can't even pray for yourself.
Yeah, I think that's very important. I think that's standard. And unfortunately, in the world that we live now, and people are so quick to lower their standards, people just get into relationships with people that don't even know how to pray. And how are you going to make it? How are you going to make it through the hard times? Not even the hard times, but how are you going to start your marriage if both of you can be on the same page with prayer.
Yeah.
I think prayer is so important. If I mean, you can't really afford to be with someone who doesn't know how to pray, because you really need someone to cover you, and there's no better person to cover you in prayer than someone who loves you and has concern for you. So yeah, I totally agree. I think I mentioned it in the last video as well.
And there you go. You've just explained my point better than I explained it myself. That's how you pray. And then the next one is trust. So trust is I think a very important thing. It's like a foundation to every relationship. And I realize that you actually love me by you trusting my actions and trusting my decisions, knowing that they have both you and me at the center of them. And as our family grew, it has you, me, and the two little people that run around at the center of. So that to me just shows how much what love looks like when someone can trust you with even their own lives, with the lives of their children, to make sure that whatever decisions you make and whatever choices you make, you have considered everyone. So yeah, that's my next point.
Yeah, trust is important. I mean, what's a relationship without trust? Trust is the core, and I can actually take trust back. Well, for me, I can take trust back to the fact that I trust the decisions you make because I know that you have a relationship with God. I trust your relationship with God, and it makes me trust you even more. And and I mean, that is also the love aspect of it. Like, it has to include God in it. It all goes back to God, and it makes it easier. It makes the marriage easier. It makes the relationship easier, and it just makes it easier for me to be able to trust the decisions you make, and not just trust the decisions you make, but trust your actions. Trust, if you decide that you're going out or you're going somewhere. I have no sleepless nights. I have no anxiety. I have no stress. I have no wondering what you're doing. I just trust you because I love you and because God is at the center, because I know that you have a relationship with God as well.
Cool. Thanks. And then I think one of my last points is quite an important one and a deep one. And it stems from the fact that we are two separate human beings from when we met, and raised in different households with different families, different norms, different culture. It could be the same culture, but different nuances within that culture, different belief systems, and those differences permeating in our day-to-day lives is inevitable, right? And I don't think I can say any more than this. People will always have differences, and people will always have arguments, and people will always have points where they don't agree on. What is very important is the how. It's how you differ and how you put your argument across, or how you say your principle, which is different from the other person. And from probably, I'm gonna call it maybe the third or fourth argument, because the first one you think, it's honeymoon phase. She's just rolling over. But I think it's from the third or the fourth where you're actually seeing differences, and you just realize that this person actually differs, but she's got principles, right? So you argue and you differ with me, but from my side. It's like we're not creating a boxing match and we're gonna nuke each other and take each other out. And I think the best analogy I can give as someone who likes and loves soccer is that if someone's got the ball, you either mark the ball or mark the man in the ball. So from my perspective, you mark the ball. You just come at it from that aspect that we're differing from, and we resolve it just based on that specific aspect, you don't tackle me and take away the ball and run away with it. And that just showed me earlier on that this, for me, this is what love looks like. It's we just have a point of difference, but that doesn't take away from our love. It doesn't take away from what we're building at. It doesn't take away from the direction that we're going. We might have a different course to how we're going to get to that direction, but the direction and the point of end is the same. So we now actually argue and differ, but with respect, and just based on principles and nothing more, nothing less. So yeah, that to me is what love looks like.
Yeah, I think the greatest test of love is disagreements.
Correct.
It's out of disagreements that you actually can truly, after that, say that, you know what, I actually love this person, because you will find yourself in disagreement, but not wanting to say anything that will hurt the other person in any kind of way. Sometimes you'll even find yourself taking time out to actually evaluate the person you love's perspective.
Yeah.
You know, you're not just going to jump in there because you want to be right, but you actually find yourself taking a moment to be like, okay, I know that this is where I stand, but I love this person and I've trusted this person this far. So let me see where this person is coming from.
Yeah.
You know, you actually give the person a moment and a chance so that you can understand where they're coming from, because you know that it's not a battle, it's not a war zone. We are on the same team.
Correct.
It's just that, like you said, we have a difference in principles based on who we are and based on our background. So because you love that person, you just find yourself being in a place where you're like, let me just, you know, think about it from their perspective for a moment.
Correct.
And yeah, that's really what love has done for me when it comes to disagreements.
Yeah. And I think I just want to sort of end with just a little bit of an encouragement to say, if you are struggling in the area of love, showing and receiving love, I firmly believe that the love between a husband and a wife, or between a woman and a man who are in courtship, was never a man's idea. It's not like if you go back into the Garden of Eden, that Adam was bored and he didn't have anything to do, and he said, God, why don't you give me someone like a partner for me to have communion or to spend time with. I believe it was God's idea for love between man and woman, for love between husband and wife. So it's always good to go back to the source. It's always good if you, within this world, if you've got something that you bought and it starts malfunctioning, you take it back to the person that made it, right? So from my perspective, the person that made or who created love is God. And I think just spending time in the Bible, you will find encouragements on how to love. If I can paraphrase this, 1 Corinthians 13, it just gives the different descriptions of love. That love never gives up. Love cares more for others than for self. Love doesn't want what it doesn't have. It doesn't have a swelled head. It doesn't force itself on others. It isn't always me first. It doesn't keep score of sins of others. It takes pleasure in the flowering of the truth. It puts up with anything. It trusts God always, and always looks out for the best, and never looks back, but keeps going on to the end. So yeah, that's just my little encouragement. So yeah, thank you very much for tuning in, and you'll see us on the next video that's going to come very shortly.
Yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you guys, and yeah, until the next video, bye.
Bye.